proud fam. I hope you guys are having an amazing morning, afternoon, night, whatever time it may be when you guys are seeing this video. Thank you so much for stopping in and watching. Before we get started, please leave a like on the video and let's get into it. Okay, what we're gonna be doing today is hopefully installing a number 0 fuel plate on my truck. And it is a item that was sent in by, and I'm so very sorry, dude, if I butcher your last name. I really am. Please correct me if I say this wrong. I'm gonna say it three different times just to see if I get it right. His name is Cody Stalik, maybe Stalik or Stalik. Not entirely sure which one it is. I really hope I did not mess that up really bad because I really just hate saying people's names wrong and I feel really bad if I do butcher it. Thank you so much, man. You are awesome. He sent me in a number 0 fuel plate so I can put on my truck. Free of cost, so I really do appreciate it. Shout out to you, man. You're awesome. If you guys would like to send anything else for my truck that you think I might want, or you just want to send in, just to send in, maybe you've got parts laying around from an old 12 valve build that you did or something, or maybe it doesn't have to apply to a 12 valve, you know, a diesel truck. Stuff that I'm going to want, of course, is obviously intake, cold air intake, air horn, stuff like that. So if you guys are valve covers, custom painted or whatever, like if you guys have any of that stuff laying around, maybe you want to send something in, gladly give you guys a mention or a shout out for that because it'll help me out a ton. And I would love to be able to return the favor and help you guys out in some kind of way. If you want to give your Instagram a shout out or whatever, I would gladly do that for you guys in that sense. Anyways, let's get on with this. I'm not entirely sure, but I hopefully the intro clip kind of gave you a little bit of justice maybe on how the truck currently runs. And this is not for smoke purposes. If I can get this done, if it's not already done, I can maybe boost my truck another. Now, I'm just giving a range here because I'm not exactly sure. Maybe another 30 to 70 horsepower by installing the number 0 fuel plate, and maybe another 100 to 125 foot-pounds of torque, possibly. I'm not gonna, like, those are not exact numbers. I'm just giving my best educated guess based off of what I've heard, what I've seen, what I've read in forums. And so that's what I'm saying the truck might or could produce if I can get this done and adjust. They call it the smoke screw. That's not the the proper name for it, but that's just what people refer to as the smoke screw, and adjust that a little bit as well to feed a little more fuel to those injectors. And this truck does have, I can't recall what the guy exactly said. He said they either 50 horsepower injectors on the truck or 50 horsepower nozzles on the injectors. I think he said it just has 50 horsepower nozzles. If there's a difference, just let me know, because I still don't know what the exact difference is or what that really means. I know what an injector is. Of course, we put 50 horsepower injectors on the first gen, but I just don't know what the difference is between the injector and just an injector nozzle, like just the nozzle end of it. I don't know. So if you guys could let me know down in the comments. Sorry if the wind is bad. I'm gonna try to cover the mics. He said that had a slightly shaved. This is how he told it to me, and he didn't do the job. He said a buddy of his is kind of, he works on these trucks all the time. He's got a 12 valve pushing 800 horsepower, so he had him do the work because he felt better with him doing it over himself. Anyways, he said that it had a slightly shaved fuel plate. Does that mean a 0? Does that mean a 10? Does that mean any? Like, I have no idea what that means, but he said slightly shaved. And if you look here, okay, maybe right there you can see it, the tamper-proof screw, which is right back in there, already has a notch. I guess it's not even the same screw. They had already taken that one out and swapped it out with a flathead screwdriver, head style bolt on it, so that basically you can just remove it a lot easier, and it doesn't have the tamper-proof screw on there. So that's a good thing if I don't have to mess with that, because I really don't like tampering with stuff too much or taking risks of breaking stuff or messing with something that really shouldn't be messed with, which really technically this shouldn't be messed with. If you ask somebody who builds these trucks and they're all about staying stock and keeping it all original, you're really technically not supposed to mess with this. They're set up factory for a reason, but we are trying to get a little bit more gains out of the truck without anything too crazy that's really going to highly affect or strain transmission or the fuel pump or anything else like that. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to get to it. Hopefully it's not too difficult. Now here's all the hardware that was sent in the package. I'm sure there's all different sorts of ways you can do this. Some guys will just take out the stock one, chop it down to what they call a 0, and then basically that's just, it is what it is. I'm sure it serves pretty much a similar, if not the same purpose, but this is what he sent me. I'm not entirely sure what all these are for. I'm sure I'll kind of figure it out as I get into the project and see where these probably go, but I currently don't have an answer or response for this because I really don't know. So I'm not going to tell you anything because I really don't know what these are for, but I believe this is the 0 fuel plate. All good things. I've been doing things
things that they told me I should never do. I've been doing things that they told me I could never do now. Never do, I could never do. I've been looking back and I'm the only one who ever knew. My dreams began to turn out. I told them it's my turn now. They in the club and I'm in the studio. Guess they gonna learn now. Told myself I want it all, gotta get it all, never gonna burn out. I've been busy working, you busy flirting. Guess you get what you deserve now. Whoa.
So here's what I've got right now. I did get the AFC housing off, and I believe that is what this is called, if I'm not wrong. And this is the fuel plate that was in there. Now this one was already ground down to a 0 by the looks of it. However, I noticed something on this one that was different than what most people have been saying, and that is different than this one. This one has much bigger and wider, I guess you could say, a guide here. So this one will be able to slide back quite a bit more than this one. And this one was actually, it was ground down, but it was slid all the way forward on it, closer towards the cab of the truck. And I thought, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, and I'm gonna look it up just again, just to make sure, after noticing this one was slid all the way forward towards the cab, I thought people were saying to slide these all the way back for, you know, the added horsepower and, you know, whatever that you're going to get out of it. And I don't know if there's a reason for it. Maybe he wanted to have a 0, but he didn't want to basically move this from stock position. Whatever his reasons were, I don't know. Like I said, he didn't do the work. He just said that his buddy, who works on 12 hours all the time, he just did it for him. This is going to be probably a better option. Fuel plate is, I mean, it's really the same. The only difference is this one has more distance that can be traveled. This one's got more track distance, I guess. I'm just gonna call it track distance. Got more track distance here, so it'll be able to slide back a little bit further than this one. And other than that, this one was slid all the way forward, so I don't really know. Like I said, I don't know the reasoning for it. Maybe a reason for doing it. Other than that, I really don't know. And for the AFC housing, I don't know what all's been done to it. Now that I've noticed that this has already been toyed with, I have a slight feeling that, and this hadn't been done for very long. The truck was, like I said, the truck was old man owned, you know, 96 to 2001. The guy died, sat in a barn for years and years and years. And then, you know, just, I don't know, not even a year ago, the guy bought the truck. And he said within 2 months of me buying it is when his buddy had done all the work. The 50 horsepower nozzle, 100 horsepower injection pump, you know, this stuff and whatever else has been done has only been done within the last couple months. So it wasn't like it was ran like this for the last, 20 years. All this work had just been done within like 2 or 3 months of me buying the truck. The guy said he's like, prior to that, he just drove it how it was. Bought off the old guy that just drove it stock. Trying to debate whether or not I want to finish this video on this project right now, or if I will just finish this tomorrow. Right now, what I have over here, because I got to go with my dad, we're gonna hook the first gen up to a gooseneck. All this stuff covered up with a towel, where the fuel plate was covered up, where that where that mounted up there, where the grid heater is. I have that all, if you guys can hear me because of audio, I have that all masked off with, just towels and rags and stuff to make sure that nothing falls into any of those holes up there. But other than that, this looks like it's been toyed with. Now, I don't know for sure what's been done, so I might just leave this until tomorrow. And then if you guys could let me know down in the comments, and also look right here. I don't know if you can see this, but this right there, this right here was shaved down a little bit as well. You can see how it's not like a flat, it's a little bit at an angle, but this right here, the face of that was ground down just a little bit as well. So I'm not sure what all has been done to this thing, or what, I guess you could say, adjustments that I should make to this, but I would like to have some feedback from you guys down in the comments, because I would like to make sure that I get this done and I get it done properly. I don't want to do like a cheap job and then throw it all together and then have to go back and redo everything. It's not that difficult to do, but I would just rather not do it if I don't have to. If you guys could fill me in on that in the comments below, would definitely appreciate it. Been a long time since we've been in the first gen, since I've been in the first gen. Got her all filled up. Just gonna go hook up that gooseneck. Hey look, the local junkyard. guys wanted a little bit more first gen, so I'm trying to get you some kind of first gen footage here. Now typically the 7.3 is our go-to work truck over the KingRanch and the first gen, of course, just because we've been working this truck for years now. But what we decided was we've never hooked the first gen up to a trailer yet. Kind of curious as to see how it does pulling wise compared to this. So what we're gonna do is hook this load up to the first gen and see how it does. Right now we've got some relief on the trailer, so it's not straining the truck while it's sitting in here squatting a little bit. Galvanized gating, and then we've got 800 to 1,000 pound big square bales on the rear tandem axles there. We'll see how it does. It should do fine though. Kind of excited. We've never hooked the first gen up to anything, and this is going to be a really good test load. I mean, this is a 25+5 gooseneck. They call it a 25+5 because the deck itself from the back there up to where the wood ends is 25, and then you've got another 5 foot with the ramps. So they call it a 25+5. So it's a 30 footer, you know, nonetheless. And we're gonna get her all hooked up and see how it does. Dad's nodding his head like he's kind of excited to see how the first gen performs. And with the long bed and only being an extended cab, he can actually see the ball. If you look at the suspension back here, not really much to see on these first gens, really. Almost leveled out with the leaf pack down there. She's squatting pretty good. That's a good first load for that truck. That's probably one of the heaviest loads it's ever hauled, to be honest. The guy said that when he had it, the most he did was haul a horse trailer with it, time or two, maybe 3 times. But nothing too bad. Well, we got the first load hooked up to the first gen here. I think it's squatting pretty good, pretty heavy load, but most of the weight, the majority of the weight's on the tandem axles back there, so it shouldn't be straining the truck too much in terms of like weight in the bed and on the frame. On the rear axle, it should mostly just be pulling weight besides obviously the front end of the trailer, the tongue of the trailer. How do you think it's gonna do?
It's gonna do good. It feels good already. And the kind of janky brake system that was Velcroed, although it's on the ground, it seems to work pretty good.
Oh yeah, it stops it. Yeah.
I was a little concerned that it wasn't gonna work, but it works fine. So I know the guy who had it before us, he used to haul those big horses, those draft horses.
Oh yeah, those huge horses.
I don't know how many he would have in a trailer, how big the trailer was, but this is our first load, so I'm excited to see. It's just a short trip, probably about 30 to 45 minutes. So it's a good tester.
Yeah, it's a good test run. Like I said, we've never hooked it up to anything, and this might be one of the biggest, if not the biggest load this truck's ever pulled. Never had a Class 2 hitch. They just went straight for the goosenecks.
I don't have tow meters.
Yeah, we don't have tow meters. We don't know how we're gonna do it. See how she does. He says torque. It sounds good. This trick just always sounds good. It doesn't matter. Big exhaust tip, normal, straight pipe, it just sounds, these first ones just sound mean. Merging onto the highway here, we're gonna see how it does merging up the speed there. About 50. Well, we got up the highway, and I'm going to tell you some of the stats that we got off of our gauges while towing this trailer. About 60 miles an hour consistently. We get about 10 to 12 pounds of boost. Our transmission tempo is running just around 200 degrees, a little under 200, and our EGTs were around 800-900. So I don't know if that's a good thing, bad thing, those numbers, but overall the truck seemed to tow very fun. I mean, towed great besides the fact that we were in the rough lane where there's a lot of patchy, spots in the road where they had done road work, but other than that, pulled just fine. Nothing really like stood out to us that seemed odd or out of ordinary. So I'm gonna be to this guy's place fairly soon here. Well, we just got done dropping off all the gating and some bales for that guy, and he's got a nice place way out there in the middle of nowhere. But you notice something about this Amish guy? He's got bobcats, tractors, trucks.
2 bobcats, 3 tractors.
It's kind of funny. It's funny.
Super nice guy though.
Oh yeah, really nice guy. Seems to drive about the same without a load. Yeah, the first one's got a little oil leak right there, but we don't know where exactly it is coming from, so we will have to do a little bit of investigating. I see a little oil residue right there, little drip. Other than that, not really sure. So we're in the 7.3 here, got a little 7.3 action for you. We got to see the second gen 12 valve, we got to see the first gen 12 valve, now we get to be in the Ford 7.3. This is one of my dad's favorite trucks. We've had it since almost brand new, way back in the day. I mean, barely used, a couple years, year or two. Give us a little rundown on the truck, what's been done to it, how it's been.
You know, I bought it basically in 2004, I've had it since. And as far as overall, we haven't done a whole lot to it until recently where we put the pusher system in. But before that, I did do a couple things in terms of the air intake. I put the AFE system in. It's been pretty good. I used that system because at the time when I was looking, that was the one that tends to be the best, easiest installation, but also supposedly offered like 35 extra horse gains. How close that is, I don't know, but that's the way they advertise it. So why not believe them? It's on the internet.
It's got to be true.
That's right. So, and then we also have the MagnaFlow. I put a MagnaFlow on there, a 4-inch exhaust all the way back. I still have the muffler. We're probably going to delete that.
We should do a muffler delete. They're like 25 bucks. We should do one of those.
So let's do that. Back then, you know, when we put it on, we weren't really thinking about it, but even just that did make a big difference in terms of the way it sounded. And then it just kind of gives it a more of a throaty sound, which I totally love. And then I put the Edge in, and I don't remember why exactly I went with the Edge, but this has been a good tuner. Now you have to understand, like, I have 273, almost 274,000 miles on this thing, right? And I always do all the maintenance pretty much myself. I use synthetic stuff. Some guys agree, disagree. It doesn't matter. That's what we do, and it's been good for us. But I will tell you this, when it comes to the transmission, I've kind of not done anything to it except just recently. And I finally got it flush for the first time after about 270,000 miles.
And you don't need to hate, we didn't know any better. We just didn't know any better.
It's just, yeah, that's the way it is. But for the most part, the Edge, I have 3 stock settings that came with it. I have not come up with any custom tunes on it. Haven't had a need to. Right now, I have it in setting 1, which is basically for trailer or tow mode. And so since we had just unhooked the gooseneck and we were hauling, you know, trailers and stuff once in a while with that, I usually keep it in that. If I don't drive it in that, I set it in setting 2, which is considered race mode. But honestly speaking, like, you put it in tow mode and it's ready to pull. I mean, it does a great job with that. And you put it in race mode, which is what I use if I'm just driving around town or whatever else. And you can, if you throttle down that thing,
it's an extreme difference.
It sets you back.
And just from tow mode to race mode is so different. You won't really roll coal in tow mode ever, and it's more sluggish, but you just feel the tires grabbing the earth. Like, it's a totally different feel, and it's programmed like, I mean, there's gonna be guys that are gonna disagree, but it's programmed like very, very well. You notice the difference, very, very, you know, very big difference.
And I don't use it in extreme, but I have put it in extreme before, and you throttle down on that thing and you're blowing rubbers off the tires. I mean, it really puts some power to the rear pretty quick. But I'll say this, like when it comes to the pusher system, that's our newest update, and that's why it was on my mind as the first thing, because we did that with the first gen, we did it with this one, and this thing, when I did get it programmed, and you know, if you run it like hard, because you do feel that throttle, you feel that power when you have it in race mode or extreme, but it would also almost like a fire-breathing dragon, so to speak. You would get it going, and then you would hear it go, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it did that.
It just would kind of do that all the time. But since I put the pusher system on, when I give it a throttle and try to get it going, it doesn't do that anymore. It seems like it's just a more smooth delivery,
just better flow.
And I'm going to jump on it now, just a little bit in tow mode, but not that I don't know if you can see that it's blowing some black here.
It doesn't real cool like the first or second gen, but not in tow mode.
See how smooth that was, whereas before you put it on there and it had power, but it would, like I said, it would almost like it was gasping for air, and now it doesn't.
You could hear it through the dash. You could hear it like that suction
it sounded cool, you know, but in the same sense, you could tell something wasn't perfect.
Something wasn't, yeah, perfectly tuned.
So, but now it seems like everything is just really smooth, and it's a noticeable difference. So, thanks Pusher for that.
Yep. We just wanted to kind of fill you in on the 7.3. We haven't done a 7.3 video in a while. I just figured while we're in the truck, give you a rundown on what's been done, how it's been, all that good stuff. And like I said, you know, some guys say that, you know, the transmissions on these trucks are awful, and you know, all this other stuff, and edge programmers are going to destroy them. And we've had this thing on here for most of the time. You've had the truck almost.
Probably about, yeah, I might have had this thing on here for probably a good 70 years, maybe 70 years.
I mean, well, I guess half the time then, but it's been, the transmission seems totally solid still. In a lot of these miles, since he's mostly had a separate vehicle, well, not most of the miles put on it, but for the last several years, he's had a separate daily driver vehicle. This thing pretty much only gets worked mostly for farm work or towing. Like that's most of the miles I've put on the last several years.
You can't be a hater. We try to keep this dash covered with a nice layer of dust just to keep it protected. So, but that's just from sitting on the farm. A lot of times the window's open, but when you arm roll it up, it still looks like new. I mean, honestly, it does. It's a good truck. It's been a real faithful truck, and probably I will say, like on the negative side, like the only problem I've ever had with this thing was the starter. For a while I was going through starters like crazy, and then I finally had a company build me, like they actually build their own starters that are more heavy duty, and once I've had that, I have not had a problem with that. But it was so frustrating because there was a stretch of like 3 years I was putting in like 2 starters a year, and I would have to keep a piece of cardboard in the back behind the seat, because in the middle of winter I come out of the office and have to flipping go down there and play with the wires and stuff. But ever since then, it's been really good. And so I would advise you, if you ever have to put a starter on a 7.3, pay the extra money and get one that's good, because it'll pay off. But other than that, this has been a really good, faithful truck. So
yep, just thought I'd fill you in on that. It's been a great day, got a lot of stuff done. And remember to leave down in the comments for the second gen, the fuel plate stuff. If you got to rewind back and go through, you know, listen to what I was talking about, leave some comments down for the second gen on the fuel plate thing. What should I do? What's the proper way to go about it? Just want to make sure I get it done the right way before I go and, you know, bolt everything back together. But if you have not yet joined the fam, we are growing every single day. Videos come to you every single day, and I would love to have everybody in on that. Leave your like, leave your comment below, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.
Doing what I love, going day to day, but I know it takes time and I'm patiently waiting. Sometimes I contemplate, cause one day you feel so close and the next is out of sight. But I know I gotta hold on tight to go back to just going out every night. Like if I'm about to let it go now, I can live alright, live a normal life, doing 9 to 5. But I know I'm more than that. I gained this skill, wasn't born with that. At the end of the life, it's a memory.